What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. And this week I want to give you guys an update on the Kifaru Maniml. If you guys remember the last video that we posted a couple weeks ago, we are a little bit behind because we've been grinding out through the hunting season. But if you guys remember, I walked you guys through the Kifaru Maniml. I talked about how I configured this backpack for saddle hunting and also went over the specs, the features, why I wanted to go with a 22-inch arc frame versus the 25-inch arc frame. If you guys are interested in checking that video out or learning more about this pack, I'll put a link in the description below and then also a picture of the thumbnail in this video so you guys can kind of go back and reference that. But the main thing that I want to talk about in this video is how this bag performed on a recent Indiana hunt where I was out hunting public ground. Now, luckily for me, I did have the opportunity to harvest a very nice 6-point out on public. This is definitely by far the biggest 6-point that I've actually ever seen on the hoof. I'll throw some B-roll in this video so you guys can get a good idea on the mass that this deer actually carries throughout his rack. But I was super excited to be blessed with the opportunity to harvest this buck. Now, this buck, the one that I had shot, we actually didn't use the Kifaru Maniml. And one thing that I definitely realized throughout this trip and something that I need to invest some time in is figuring out how to cape an animal out in the field when you are planning to shoulder mount it. So being that I was planning on shoulder mounting this deer, we did drag him out and utilize a sled. There was 4 of us. We were roughly about a mile back. Took us well over an hour. When you start looking at the amount of effort required to get an animal out of the field, especially when you're dealing with hill country, you'd be much better off packing the animal out. Now, as I mentioned, we had 4 guys in camp. All 4 guys tagged out. And on the second buck retrieval, it was Tom. He actually shot a nice 8-point out on public. We were planning on quartering the animal out and then loading it into game bags and utilizing the Kifaru Maniml, but last minute, Tom decided that he wanted to shoulder mount it. So again, being that I'm not familiar with caping out an animal out in the field, we took a different route and utilized the Maniml to pack out the entire deer. Now, what I will say is after this experience, it is not recommended. Now, we did try to Cam Hanes that deer out over our shoulders, but personally for me, my leg strength was not on par with Tom. I was not able to comfortably get off the ground. Tom was able to, but it was very awkward. He kept losing a hold of the deer, and that's when we decided to utilize the pack and kind of put the pack to work. But it definitely gave me the ability to really test out what this bag was capable of. Now, Derek from Sunrise Archery also tagged out, but he was in an area where we were able to sled that deer out. And then the last guy that we were with, Dave, he shot a really beautiful buck out on public, a nice 10-point, and that one we did actually quarter out, debone the meat, and then utilize the pack with game bags. Now, the overall opinion and performance of this bag is, I think, I mean, if you are looking for a whitetail bag that is going to give you the ability to pack out an animal, then this is definitely hands down the route that you want to go. A quartered out deboned animal was extremely comfortable to carry on this bag. I actually had all of the meat, so both hind quarters, both front quarters. I had the back straps, the neck meat, all the trimmings. The only thing that Dave carried out was the head, and he was definitely willing to pack meat out, but I told him, I said, I got this pack. I want to test it out. I want to see how comfortable it is packing out an entire animal. And like I said, it did absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it was extremely comfortable once you get the pack fitted for you specifically, being that I'm a shorter guy. I'm only 5'8". Like I said, I decided to go with a 22-inch frame, but the 22-inch frame did outstanding with carrying that heavy of a load. Now, obviously, I did kind of modify the buckles, and I go over this in detail on the previous video that I did, but I modified the buckles so I could get the pack or get the straps to go completely around the pack. That's how I'm carrying my saddle platforms and sticks in, but I did leave female and male buckle connection points on the backpack. Now, I did also add a strap that stays kind of hidden behind the pack in the event that we did get an animal down, and I really like that configuration because what that allowed me to do is it allowed me to stack the meat on the bag, use that middle strap to tighten everything down and get it super secure to the frame, and then from there I was able to use the pack to kind of compress that meat a little bit more. Now, the one thing that I will need to play around with, and you can kind of see it in the pictures, unfortunately I didn't do a whole lot of video, but the one thing that you can see in some of the pictures is that once we debone that meat, obviously without the bones it loses its structure, its rigidity, whatever you want to call it. So that game bag, that outer game bag was actually flopped over, and with that being flopped over, it was kind of causing some movement as I was hiking. It didn't feel like it was as stable on my back. So if I were to do this again, which hopefully I will, personally I would probably just leave the bones in the meat, and that's going to allow you to have that rigidity. Obviously you are going to have a little bit more weight that you want to carry. The other alternative is to figure out a way to connect straps to the top of this bag, and then figure out how you're going to actually attach it to the arc frame, so you can kind of pull that up and compress that meat to the frame so it's not flopped over. That was probably the only downside. If we wouldn't have deboned the meat, it probably would have worked out perfectly fine. But overall experience with this pack, I mean, this thing performed flawlessly. I started dubbing the Maniml as just a whitetail workhorse, man. This thing, you can use it for short distance hunts. I mean, at no point does this size of backpack feel too big when you're hiking in. No point does it feel too big when you're up in the tree. And it's due to the arc frame, it is a very light pack when compared to some of the other previous backpacks. I'll try to get a weight on what this is empty, just so you guys have a kind of an idea of what you're looking at. Now, the one thing that I will point out is obviously this bag looks clean. I did clean it after the Indiana hunt. And the best thing that I found to do is obviously remove the pack, remove anything that got blood on it. So all my accessory pouches were covered in blood. The back of the bag was covered in blood. My hip belt was covered in blood. So I basically took everything off of the frame, including the straps, and put it all into a tub with cold water. And I just had non-scented laundry detergent in there. And I'd basically fill it up, let the bag soak, kind of move it around a little bit, shake it around, rub some of the blood off. I would drain that water, refill it, again refilled it with non-scented laundry detergent, and then I kept doing that until there was basically no more blood coming off of the pack. Now, one thing that I was not aware of, and I did reach out to Kifaru on this, is whether you should air dry these bags or if you could put them in the dryer and do a tumble dry or light heat. And it is not recommended that you do that. So if you are washing your packs, make sure that you are air drying them. There is a laminate on this Cordura fabric, which helps kind of provide a little bit of water resistance and makes it very easy to get blood off of the pack. But if you were to dry this, it'll delaminate this material. So definitely do not dry these bags. Let them air dry. It did take about 2 days for this to get completely dry outside hanging in my driveway. So definitely, like I said, an outstanding backpack for sure, a whitetail workhorse. But that's going to be it for this video. If you guys have any other questions, leave me a comment below. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Your guys' support greatly helps us out, keeps us doing what we're doing. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you guys on the next one.